I think that present-day entertainment leaves so much to be desired that you can't even talk about it all. And that's, of course, why I think that good Christian entertainment is so important, because most of what people see is leading them in the wrong direction.
I think we live in an age when the Catholic faith has been largely suppressed. Even people that call themselves Catholics maybe aren't practicing the faith.
I hate to go to a play or to a movie and, for instance, hear the name of the Lord in vain, see sinful actions and impurity and immodesty, which a lot of the plays are depicting, and not for the sake of telling a story, but only for the sake of drawing an audience.
We have facing us today all different types of theater, movies, television, which deal with subjects that are really not entertainment but have shock effect. And they go in for a lot of action in lieu of a storyline.
When you sit and watch something that's on TV that is not good for us morally, I think it reflects. The kids begin to act that out. And because I have a school, a very large school in the parish, I can see that with the kids. And I can hear them saying things that I know they picked up from TV, and they even brag about it.
What you can do is take matters into your own hand. Every city has a stage. There's no reason any group, religious group, Catholic group, can't do what we're doing.
The Quo Vadis Theater is a group of people who've banded together to produce theater for the family.
And we've all come together to put out our own play, and the genre, of course, is the historical biographical play.
The plays have each inspired my faith. They've made me want to be a better Catholic, a stronger Catholic. They're all about Catholic heroes, people that have given their all for the faith.
We as a company believe that great drama can shape moral character. We believe that what people see on stage and screen, and particularly young people, can influence them. In fact, they may emulate what they see on stage and screen.
I think if you give them tantalizing scenes, it plays to, you might say, our lower instincts. But if you give them the romance literature and the things that play to their higher nature, they will play to that. And people come away more uplifted, I think, seeing a good play with heroes and heroines and people's real struggle in life that lifts them up.
I saw the Plunkett play twice. I thought it was so excellent and inspirational in my faith that I wanted to get a better sense of what it was about.
One of the interesting things about Plunkett is he's really an anti-hero. He had no intentions of being a hero. There were several times, and this is shown in the actual production itself, where he was tempted to just flee the country and get away from there.
What first struck me about him was his humanness, i.e., he wasn't a typical martyr. He didn't rush into it. There was something about him in the beginning, at least, that he seemed to be reluctant to go to Ireland.
Oh, you're a very stubborn man.
It runs in the family.
So I see.
Listen, can you remember a name?
What name?
Thomas Melody.
I never heard of the man. Who is he?
Me.
What?
It's the name I'll be using from now on. Can you take Mel at the tavern?
Why wouldn't I? Don't I own the place?
Tell Bishop Brennan to write his letters to James McKenna and tell him to use a code, any code.
Listen, a few months in France and all this would blow over. Why, the people are all behind you. They'd crown you King of Ireland tomorrow if you asked them. Or England, for that matter.
England, is it?
Shh!
As I recall, the last King of England had his head cut off. So if the people don't object, I'll be keeping mine.
The bishop dies for really a principle, and that is that he's not going to compromise anyone else in order to save himself.
Hollywood would have taken that, thrown in a few swashbuckling scenes to show that this was a man of courage and daring.
As Christians, we are trying to attain a higher goal, and you want to see these models like the saints in the church. You want to see those models as things that you can look forward and try and attain, and see the terrible things that those models went through in their life.
You see some strong points in the character, and then you see some weak points, and then you see the growth of the character, and then you see him facing these dangers, and you see him facing them in a realistic manner. He's not facing them like the train's coming and I'm going to stand here. He's facing them with the reality that I could get out of this. I could back away. And yet he still stands there and stands his ground and does what he feels is the right thing to do. You know, and that in itself is dynamic.
I think the message they're putting out, and the message that we need more in this day and age, is a message of integrity.
What is different here is that this place sticks to the facts. And it says, this is what happened. This is what was recorded. Here's the trial that went on. This is what the man said. And this is the repercussion after this trial. And anybody could go back into their historical research and find out that this is true.
Plunkett, according to this fantastic plot, was going to raise an army in Ireland and raise money to bring a French army. So the French and the Irish would rise up and overthrow the King of England. It was fantastic, but it suited the purposes of the opposition group in England.
That there's a very minor subplot involving Charles II. And the Queen comes to Charles when Plunkett is arrested.
Charles, they arrested Oliver Plunkett.
I know.
You said he would be tried in Ireland.
The Irish have no respect for the law. They're Catholics.
I ask what crime the Archbishop has committed.
Not committed. Not committed. Accused. He is accused of treason.
And that is absurd. Anyone who knows Plunkett...
Men who engage in the absurd sometimes lose their heads. A death warrant for a Jesuit priest.
Charles, I do not wish to meddle in these matters, but Oliver Plunkett is no more guilty of treason than I am.
How do you know?
Because he's a gentleman.
He's an Irishman.
A prince of the church.
Prince or pauper, he's still subject to the law. Come here. Come. Come. Look beyond the gate. Tell me, what do you see?
An angry crowd.
A mob, led by that half-wit Titus Oates. Do you know what that mob did last night?
Whatever Shaftesbury bid them do.
They went about London cracking Catholic skulls. And tonight it might be my royal skull or yours.
Charles, you cannot stand idly by while innocent men are put to death.
Well, what would you have me do?
If you do nothing, this man Oates will bring you to ruin.
Oh, you're very free with your
Oh,
advice.
do you think Shaftesbury will leave you alone?
That's my business.
And mine?
You're meddling, madam, meddling in the affairs of state, and I will not have it.
Oh, then what should I do? Sit in my chamber, drinking tea while men plot the overthrow of my husband?
Enough! Enough, do you hear me? I will not be ruled by women!
And I will not be treated like a country maid!
This country is on the verge of civil war. One spark! That's all it takes, one spark! And this entire kingdom goes up in flames!
We really need to have play companies like Quo Vadis to show us the high life, the high road. We need to be inspired by theatrical productions such as Quo Vadis presents.
And the message that we're giving out is, this is good entertainment. This is something you want to watch with your children. This is something you'll enjoy. And oh, by the way, it's also got some historical value.
I think that it's important that people, especially in this day and age, have good Catholic material available to them. And what I've seen of Quo Vadis is they put on very good Christian plays. They are very professional about it, very entertaining, and I think it's a wonderful thing to support, either with just your presence and your volunteer work, or and we have some people in the parish that support them with their money.
If you don't like what you're seeing, and then support the artists who are trying to do this, and maybe we can make an impact.